If you ever look at some of the Pinterest girls or even the sort of model off-duty street style of celebrities and think, what is the difference? She's just wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Like, why does she look so effortlessly cool in that? And I just feel kind of frumpy when I wear it. Well, y'all, the secret sauce is actually not so secret. It's the difference between wearing your outfit and styling your outfit. It's truly that simple. And in the oh so wise words of the great Clary, the only thing that separates us from the animals is our ability to accessorize. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today, is how to level up your outfits, things that you already own, while still being able to wear these fall trends in a way that still actually feels like you. We're going to jump right into the deep end, y'all. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is pattern mixing, because this is one of those things that is very scary for a lot of people. And I totally get why, because done wrong, it can just feel a bit like a disaster. But done right, and it's really good and fun and a cool way to just like mix up your outfits and create something that feels very unique and different, especially with plaid and leopard print and all of those things being very on trend for fall. You can actually wear them at the same time in some cases. So examples of how people wear this and wear it well are things like you might wear a striped shirt with leopard print flats. I've said this before, leopard, cheetah, etc. can very much be a neutral. The biggest trick to being able to do this well, and what you have to kind of piece apart when you see it done well and you're trying to figure out why that works and why that doesn't work, is really think about scale. The scale of the patterns, like a large floral versus a small floral, a large stripe versus a pin stripe. The other factor is whether or not those two different patterns have a shared color. So there needs to be some kind of thread that runs through that brings them together. And when pattern mixing is done well, it can be really fun, really creative. If you look at your stripes or your leopard print and you think of that as your neutral item, then add from there and mix from there. Those are just some of the ways that I mix patterns. The other way that I really like to mix pattern is in texture. So not so much print, but the texture, which can bring a pattern-like feel to an outfit, especially if it's something that has a really great, like robust, dense texture to it. Think of things like tweed or satin or even linen. Thinking about the textures and choosing different textures with a pattern or some other kind of print is another way that you can kind of ease in without it feeling too scary, hopefully. Let's talk about the third piece rule. Apparently, a former employee from Ralph Lauren made a TikTok, and that's kind of gone viral, but the third piece rule is really nothing new, especially for preppier brands like Ralph Lauren. But the rule is simple. It's basically that you need to have a third piece in any outfit that you wear to work. So you can't just wear khaki pants and a button down. There needs to be a third piece. You just tuck that button down in and put on a nice belt. Or you can leave that button down untucked and maybe put a cardigan over your shoulders. That's just kind of the basic idea of a third piece. And your shoes or your handbag don't count for the third piece. So it's the third piece in your basic outfit. I swear by this rule because I'm here to tell you that the basic t-shirt and jeans is a go-to for me, but how I level it up is by whatever that third piece I add is. Today, I'm just wearing some Barrel jeans from Target that are perhaps my new favorite Barrel jeans, and just pants in general that I've ever owned. They are so comfortable. I love them so much. And a basic white t-shirt, but my third piece is my scarf, my little handkerchief scarf. Now, I might also end up later, if it gets chillier, adding a little cardigan over top or a denim button-up shirt just layered over top of that. That's more, but just the simple act of adding a scarf or just the cardigan is the third piece rule in action, basically. It doesn't have to be complicated, y'all. Like, that's the biggest thing, is I do feel like there's this, I don't know, kind of gatekeeping or some sense of only certain people can pull off and understand these, super complex fashion rules, what makes something work and what doesn't. It's not true. Again, it kind of separates people into the categories of well, I just have no fashion sense, so I just wear whatever. That's not really true. I want to bridge that gap so that there's not this idea of those who know how to dress well and those who don't. It's really not as complicated as we make it. For whatever reason, I just feel like people get in their heads about it. It doesn't have to be complicated. So third piece rule examples: T-shirt, jeans, blazer. T-shirt, jeans, cardigan. That's a t-shirt, jeans, and blazer is one of my favorite looks because it just has a polished feel to it without trying hard at all. If you want even more casual, think about like wide leg, high rise pants and a tank top, but you add a nice wide belt with it. Something fun, a wider, maybe Western style or something, but just a wider belt with that outfit. You will be shocked by how simple that is, but how much it changes an outfit. So if you're like, I'm just a t-shirt and jeans kind of gal, Angie, totally fine, okay? Most of the time I am too. But the key difference into making something just look like an outfit you threw on versus looking like an outfit that was intentional and you like look like you know what you're doing is often just that simple third piece. I know we talked about the third piece rule. The next rule, and I'm using that, of course, very loosely, is implementing the rule of 7. Now, that's a little misleading because it's actually acceptable to be the rule of 7, 8, 9, or possibly 10. The happy place is typically somewhere between 7 and 8. 8 what, Angie? 7, 8, what are you talking about? Points. Points. How do I earn points? Points are simple. Points are just the items of clothing that you are wearing. Accessories, not just the clothes, but also accessories. They have a point value. This really helps you to balance your outfits. I love accessories. I love extras, accoutrement, if you will, hats, scarves, bracelets, rings, and you can definitely go over the top with that. And so this point system helps to make sure that we don't go like into crazy land sometimes with these outfits, though. If you want to go there, go on with your bad self. So basic pieces are worth 1 point. A basic pair of jeans, a basic t-shirt. If it's more of a statement piece, that's worth 2 points, okay? Pretty simple, right? You know the difference in your own wardrobe between things that are basic and things that are bolder or more statement items. So in the end, you want your whole outfit to be worth 7 to 8 points total, okay? White t-shirt, 1 point. Jeans, 1 point. Belt, basic belt, simple belt, 1 point. Big statement earrings, 2 points. Patterned shoes, those would also be 2 points. So that brings you to 7 points. At that point, you are styled, but not overdone. The idea of this is that a really good outfit put together would be somewhere between 7 and 10 points, with 7 to 8 being the ideal spot to land. All right, the next little styling tip or rule that can actually help you a whole lot is the 70-30 rule. Now, I know some people have kind of change this into the 80-20. I think it very much depends on your style. I would argue that for me, this is definitely more of like a 60-40, but you know your personal style better than anyone, right? So if you are a more basic minimalist type of dresser, then you're gonna want 70-30, 80-20. If you're a little bit more maximalist or a little more bold, you like some really fun statement things, you might be more like 60-40. And the idea here is that 70% of your outfit should be made from closet staples, from basics, and 30% of your outfit can be fun, trendy items or more statement pieces, etc. And this really is best reflected in your closet as well, right? Like you want a good 70% of your wardrobe to be just good, solid basics, things that you can grab and go. You don't have to overthink. And then that 30% of your closet can be something really fun, different, trendy, etc. And what this really does is keep your closet fun, exciting, good to get dressed, versatile, but not overwhelming. What people will often find is when they go to declutter or clean out their closet, or if you are like, I have a ton of clothes, but I feel like I have nothing to wear, it is likely because you are way off balance in this. You either have way too many basics and not enough statement and fun pieces, which is why you just feel boring, or feel like I just don't get excited about getting dressed, just boring. I'll just wear the same thing all the time, and you're not happy about that, right? The flip side of that is that you have a closet full of trendy, statement, bold pieces and not enough good basics. So it's harder for you to put together an outfit that doesn't feel clownish because you don't have enough of the good basics and you end up layering way too many statement and trendy pieces that your outfit has lost the plot in terms of being a little bit grounded, if you will. This is one of my favorite ones, number 5, although it's also one of my favorite rules, if you will, to break. And that is fit and proportion. The idea here is pretty simple. If you're gonna wear a really tight top, then you should wear looser, wider pants. If you are gonna wear a big oversized top, then you should wear tighter fitting, like closer to the body fitting pants. Is that we don't want oversized all over. Now, I break this rule all the time. However, I like to know it. I have it in my back pocket and I keep it in mind because, again, as I used to teach in my photography course when I used to teach photographers years and years ago, is that the rules are best broken by those who know them. Some of your favorite pieces of artwork break all the rules, but the rules are best broken by those who know them. Intentionally breaking the rules is significantly better than breaking them because you didn't know that they were there to begin with. You have no idea why they're there. Therefore, you're not breaking them with intention. Hopefully that makes some kind of sense. For me, this also, I'm just gonna give it to you straight, okay? For me, this also applies for women who want to have a quote unquote, like if you're looking for like a sexier date night look, or you're wanting to, femme fatale it up a little bit. The difference between something, an outfit, a dress, just looking polished and classy while still having that little bit of sexy vibe, the difference between that kind of outfit and one that just ends up coming off like a little bit hoochie mama, as my grandma would say, is this rule being broken. You can't hang it all out. You got to pick, in my opinion. Just my opinion, take it or leave it. You can't wear a short skirt and a low cut top. You gotta, one or the other, you gotta pick. This can absolutely be done without actually showing any cleavage or anything, depending on your comfort level, but it's a balance there. So I think of one of my favorite pictures in my mind of this is in Serendipity. They're going ice skating and she's wearing knit black skirt. It's a very short skirt, but then she's got kind of this cropped oversized sweater. So you've got the shorter skirt that brings this like feminine flirty feel, but then you have the sweater which says like, but I'm not a slut. But the oversized sweater brings the balance to it. So that's how I kind of view it in my mind, is that there needs to be that kind of balance, in my opinion, for the sexiness level of an outfit. Now, of course, opposites attract. Rule number 6, this is one of my favorite styling rules. One I feel like people are afraid of. When you start playing around with it, I think you will see how fun and versatile it can be. The opposites attract, right? The wrong shoe rule, which is wearing the wrong shoe with the outfit. So like a blazer with sneakers, that sort of thing. This is similar, except for this is, to me, how I balance. I'm not somebody who's like all feminine clothes or all masculine. Like, to me, it's a balance. So a really feminine top with like, I don't know, think of like a flowy, silky, lots of ruffly top, and then pairing that with like boots, combat boots or something, lace up combat boots. This kind of totally opposite effect, but it brings a fun balance and can help you style up pieces that you might not normally think that you could wear together, but you actually can with a teeny tiny bit of intention and thought, Again, it just provides some contrast to your outfits and makes them a little bit more dynamic than just throwing on the item and wearing it as seen on the store model. It takes it from that into something that feels a little bit more balanced by having that opposites effect, And again, just a little bit more dynamic. Hopefully after watching this video, you have been able to answer the question for yourself. Are you just wearing your clothes? Or are you styling them? That is, to me, really, really the true difference between outfits that feel like you're dressing like everyone else around you versus you might own a lot of the same pieces, but you're styling them in a way that feels unique to you and reflective of you and your personality, which to me is the best. I love seeing people in public that are dressed in a way that feels very unique. There's a reason that it stops you visually and that you're like, oh wow, she looks really cute, or she looks really pulled together, or like, I love that outfit. I promise you, if you start looking at that, like take a mental picture and then go home and dissect, maybe don't take an actual picture or somebody might call the cops, but like take a mental picture and then go home in your mind and dissect what of the style rules. What was she following? What was she breaking? Was she wearing the wrong shoe? Did she have a third piece? Was there like a good 7 to 8 point system going on here? Like, what of these like sort of style tips and rules was she following that made that outfit stand apart? Because I know for me, this happens all the time that I see somebody in public and I just love their outfit. And then I will go home and style up things that I have because I'm like, oh, I love how she put that with that. I never would have thought of that. I come home, I find what I have in my closet that's similar, and I recreate the look. To me, it's just such a fun way to use what we already have, but still be able to participate in some of the trendy things of the season, trendy looks of the season, without having to rush out and buy a whole new wardrobe, which you don't need to do. But also, again, just feeling like you're getting dressed intentionally. You feel pulled together, you feel polished, but still like you. And remember, styling your outfits and stuff, it's not about perfection or checking some boxes or getting approval from others. It's about like a little bit of self-expression, who you are, what you love, what you like, the colors that you like. And at the end of the day, you know, my number one rule is just that you wear what you love.